Welcome to part 3, the final video in this 3-part series. All these sizes can be achieved by following the advice given in this video. Written instructions can be purchased from the website. Don't forget to share your photos via social media and make sure you subscribe to my channel, and that way you'll never miss a stitch. I'm Maria May from the Casting On Couch, so let's begin. For this project I'm using Rowan's Cotton Glace 4-ply yarn, so for results similar to mine, ensure to marry the ball band tension. Right, row 40, I've got the right bra here and we're doing the joining section, so we begin with the right bra and we begin by knitting 10 to the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so move the marker over, knit 2, and then we're going to do a knit right increase, so get the right leg over the stitch and work directly into it, and then the parent stitch. And next knit 35, and that will leave you with 4 stitches at the end, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 33, 34, 35, knit left, so going into that first, second, third row left leg, working into the back, and then knit 1. And what we're going to do is the last 2 stitches we're now going to slip onto the left needle containing the left bra so that we can merge the 2 pieces together. So let's get my left bra piece and slip those 2 stitches over like so. And now I'm going to pull this yarn in so I don't have elongated stitches. So the next 4 stitches we're going to work together, so that would be a knit 4 together. So let's make sure we've got all 4 stitches there. Let's make sure that's nice and in focus. So squeeze those 4 together, tighten everything up like so. So now we're on the way to the left bra panel. Next, knit 1, then we're going to knit right. So let's get the right leg of the stitch there and work the parent stitch, and that's a knit right. Now knit 35. 1, 2, 3, 4, 33, 34, 35. Next, knit left, so knitting the stitch and grabbing that left leg, 3rd row down, just checking I haven't picked up more than I need. got a little sort of strand I can see. So that's knit left. Then knit 4 to the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move that marker. Next, knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next we're going to knit the wrap, so let's get the wrap and the stitch together and knit them. And then we're going to do a wrap and turn, and that completes row 40, the joining row. We can now turn the work and begin row 41. Purl 9 to the marker. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. And remember the markers there to remind us that we need to knit 2. And next we're going to purl 85, which will mean purling to the second marker. 84, 85. So that's purling all the way to the marker, the next marker. And then knit 2. Oh, my yarn looks a bit tired, doesn't it? Where I've overworked it. Right, so we've knitted 2, then we purl 8. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. Just going to take away my marker, which was reminding me that was my last wrapped stitch. So we're next going to purl the stitch with its wrap. So grabbing the little wrap there, we want to purl them together like so. And next we're going to wrap and turn. So that's row 41 completed. So for row 42, knit 11 to the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11. Now knit a further 2. So that's another 2, 1, 2. And then knit right. So create that increase. And then knit 37. So 1, 2, 3, 36, 37. So that's knit 37. Now we're going to knit left. So knit the stitch first and go into the third row down, left leg, and create that increase. Now knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and knit right. So that's our knit right increase. Now knit another 37, 36, 37. Next knit left. So create that left leaning increase. Like so. And knit 4 to the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now knit 9. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. Knit the wrap. And this time we're going to knit 1 first and then do our wrap and turn. And that will complete row 42. So row 43, I want you to purl 11 to the marker. So that's 1, 2, 3, that's 10, 11. Next, we are going to knit 2, and then we are going to purl to the second marker. So that's 1, 2, 88, 89. So move the marker over and then knit 2. And then purl 9. 1, 2, 8, 9. And then we're going to purl the stitch with its wrap. Like so. And then purl 1 and then do your wrap and turn. So that will be row 43. So now for row 44. If you can knit 13 to the marker, so that's 1, 2, 12, 13. So that's the marker there. Now knit 2 and then knit right. So create our right leaning increase. Knit right and now knit 39. 1, 2, 38, 39. Now knit left, so knit 1 and pick up that left leg, knit left, knit 3 together, and then knit right. So going in to the right leg of the stitch and knitting right. Next knit 39. 1, 2, 38, 39. Next knit left, so knitting 1, going into that third row left leg, knit left, knit 4 to the marker, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 11, 1, 2, 10, 11, then knit the wrap, knit 1 and wrap and turn, and that completes row 44. Row 45, purl 13 to the marker, so that would be 1, 2, 12, 13, knit 2, and then purl to the second marker. (91). So at the second marker we now knit 2, 1, 2, and then purl 11 stitches, 1, 2, 10, 11. Now purl the wrapped stitch together, purl 1 and wrap and turn, so that's row 45. Row 46, knit 15 to the first marker, so that's 2, 13, 14, 15, knit 2, knit right, and knit 41, 1, 2, 40, 41, knit left, so knit the stitch first and increase by picking up the left leg, third row down, knit 1, knit right, pick up the right leg of the stitch below and knit right, knit 41, 1, 2, 40, 41, knit left, so knit 1 first and increase, then knit 4 to the marker, 1, 2, 3, 4, and end by knitting 13, 1, 2, 13, knit the next wrap with its stitch, knit 1 and wrap and turn, and that's row 46. Row 47, purl 15 to the first marker, 1, 2, 14, 15, and after purling 15, knit 2, Actually, let's take the yarn to the back first, that might help things. Knit 2 and then purl to the second marker. 95, so we're at the second marker. Knit 2 and purl 13. 1, 2, 12, 13. Purl the next stitch with its wrap. Purl 1 and wrap and turn. That's row 47. Row 48. Now this is the row where the decorative decreases for the bust shaping occur. So quite an interesting row, this one. Begin by knitting 17 to the marker. So that's 1, 2, 16, 17, knit 2, next knit right, so create that right leaning increase. Now only work 20 stitches. 1, 2, 18, 19, 20. Now I want you to do an SK2P. So we're going to slip the first stitch, knit 2 together, and then pass the slip stitched over. So we've decreased 2 stitches there and formed what will look like, as the work builds, a very attractive, pretty decrease for the bust dart. Knit 20, 1, 2, 19, 20. Next knit left, so knit 1 and create that left leaning increase. Knit 1, so it's the very centre of the bra, and then knit right, so create that right leaning increase. Knit 20, 1, 2, 18, 19, 20. Now we're going to do that SK2P decrease. Slip 1 onto the right needle, knit 2 together, pass that slip stitch over to create your decorative decrease there. Knit 20, 1, 2, 19, 20. Now knit left, so knit 1 first, create that left leaning increase, knit 4 to the marker, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 15, 1, 2, 14, 15, knit the next stitch with its wrap, knit 1 and wrap and turn, so that's row 48 completed. Row 49, purl to the first marker, So that's 1, 2, 16, 17. Next, knit 2 and then purl to the next marker. 1, 2, 93, 94, 95. So I'm at the second marker where we now knit 2 and then purl 15. 1, 14, 15, and after purling 15 we're going to purl the wrapped stitch together, purl 1 and wrap and turn, so that's row 49. Row 50, knit 19 to the first marker, that's 1, 2, 18, 19. Now knit to the second marker, 1, 2, 96, 97. That takes you to the second marker. Knit 17, 1, 2, 16, 17. Now knit the wrap, knit 1 and wrap and turn. So that's row 50. So row 50 does not have any bustard shaping. Row 51, purl 19 to the first marker, 1, 2, 18 and 19. So that's our first marker. Next, knit 2, 1, 2 and purl to the second marker, 1, 2, 94, 95. That's our second marker. Now knit 2 and purl 17, 1, 2, 17, purl the wrap and purl 1 and wrap and turn, so that's row 51. Row 52, we are going to introduce our circular needle. So this is a 3.25mm circular needle. So using my circular needle, I'm going to begin knitting to the marker. So knit 21 to the marker, 1, 2, so that's 20, 21. So we'll remove that marker, or move it over rather. Next I want you to knit 2 and then we're going to knit right. So a knit right increase, knit 20, 1, 2, 19, 20. Now we're going to do our SK2P decrease. So slip 1, knit 2 together, and pass that slip stitch over. Knit 20, 1, 2, 19, 20, and next we're going to knit left, so knitting 1 and creating that left leaning increase, knit 1, knit right, knit 20, 1, 2, 19, 20, and now we're going to do another SK2P. So I'm slipping on first, knitting the next 2 stitches together, and then slipping that stitch over like so. Next, knit 20, 1, 2, 19, 20. Next, knit left, so knit 1 and create that left leaning increase, and knit 4 to the marker, 1, 2, 3, 4. What I want you to do next is knit 19, 1, 2, 18, 19, and next we're going to knit the wrap together like so. Now knit another 17, so that's 1, 2, so that would be all the stitches that were previously on hold, apart from the very last 4. We want to keep those, and we want to slip those last 4 stitches onto a double pointed needle. One, 2, 3, 4, so I've got 3 to go there. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to get my double pointed needle and slip those last 4 stitches. So we no longer need that needle. Next, what I want you to do is along this binding edge is basically pick up 1 stitch. So very important, remember to pick up 1 stitch there, and then that would complete row 52. However, as you can see, we are not quite yet fully in the round. That will occur on what I have named round 53. Transfer the balance of the stitches onto the right needle of the circular needle, like so. Oops, and trying not to lose any stitches as you do so. So the work's now all on a circular needle. However, I want these first 4 stitches onto a double pointed needle so that I can merge them together with the last 4 stitches over here. Right, we just want the first 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that can go back down again. So what we're ending up with is a nice, actually what you should ensure is that basically your work is not twisted. So if we take a look at this here, what we're after is something like that. So you can hopefully see how this is going to work. You've got the circular needle in place for the future rounds, and we have the binding which forms our edge that's going to be fused together. And we're going to go into the front needle very carefully we're going to enter it as if we were knitting it. So going through the front, because if we were knitting this, we would go like so, wouldn't we, into the front. So we're mimicking that action with the embroidery needle. So we're knitting one off, but then going into the next stitch, we're going into the next stitch and purling on. So we knit one off, purl on, that's the front needle. We then go to the back needle here, and what we do is we purl one off. So if we purl that off, and this time we knit on, so as if to knit, we go through the next stitch on the back needle and keep it there. And then we're going to bring this needle back down to the front, where we're going to knit one off. So as if knitwise you slip that one off like so, and then into the next stitch we purl on, so enter into the, as if you're purling, but leave the stitch on. Now go to the back. So the back needle, we are going to purl one off, and then we're going to knit on. And next we're going to knit one off the front needle, and then purl on, go to the back needle, purl one off, and then knit on. And then if we just take that off a moment, let's have a look. What I then like to do is just go into the side, something like that. And what I may also do is, if I inspect the join, I might encourage it to tighten here and there. But what you end up with is a nice binding that merges. And what I'll do is I'll tidy up those ends once I've worked a few rounds, so I'll commit to the overall effect. Once I'm happy, you know, I'll make sure it doesn't come undone, but I like to commit to things after I see a bit of the work built up, just to make sure, because I might be able to tighten here and there if required. So I'm just going to now leave where I've done the Kitchener stitch, and where are my scissors? I don't want such a long tail getting in the way, so I'll just remove that there. So we can now get on with our first round. We need a marker, and that marker will go on to here, and I now need to bring up some stitches, so I'm just going to pull the loop through in order that the stitches on the left hand side can be pushed up and worked. So our marker is important because that's our new starting point. So what I'm going to do is pick up a stitch. So we've picked up 2 stitches along this little binding area, and next I'm going to work up until that knit section here, and we need to move our marker over. So let's keep knitting. This stitch here, we need to work with its wrap. So knit the stitch with its wrap there, but we're working knitwise. So at this point, we want to, if I've got another marker, I could just simply reposition it like so. So set your new marker position. Next, purl 2 and remove the old marker there. Next, knit all the way around to the second marker, but again we want to be 2 stitches in from the marker so that we can reposition it. So I'm still working round 53. I'm using the magic loop method, so what that means is I've kind of finished the first half and I'm just bringing up some new stitches to work so that I can reach that marker position. Then what I do is just pull that in fairly tightly so we don't have any elongated stitches and carry on knitting to the marker. So I've worked to the next marker. Luckily I've got a new one to set that into position. So I'm now going to purl 2 and I can remove that now, because the marker needs to be set into the new position. And next, just knit all the stitches to the pink marker. And then that would complete round 53. Now round 54 is a plain knit round, so work all the way around back to the pink marker. Round 55 now, I want you to knit to the first marker, the marker that's in its new position. So just work round to the marker. I've knitted to the marker. Next, purl 2 and knit to the next marker, and then purl 2 also, and knit to your beginning marker. Round 56, now this is a bust shaping round, and what I want you to do is knit 38 to the marker, so that's 1, 2, 37, 38, and let's move the marker over. Next, knit 4, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now knit right, so create a nice right leaning increase and knit 20. So that's 1, 2, 19, 20. Now we're going to do an SK2P, so slip 1, knit 2 together, and then pass the slip stitch over. That's for our bust shaping, and knit another 20, 1, 2, so that's 19, 20, knit left, knit 1, and then knit right. And then knit another 20. So that's 1, 2, so that's 19, 20, and then SK2P, and knit another 20, 1, 2, so that's 19, 20. Next, knit left, then knit 2 to the marker, 1, 2, and knit 40, and that would be round 56 complete. Now round 57 we want to knit to the markers and then purl 2 at the marker points. 37, 38, and then you reach the marker and purl 2 and knit to the next marker and purl 2 again, and then knit to the end of the round. So that's round 57. Round 58 now. This is a nice easy knit round. So round 58, knit all the way along to the end. Round 59 is as round 57, so we're knitting to that marker and then purling 2, and then knitting to the next marker and also purling 2. So that's round 59. Repeat rounds 56 to 59 3 more times. So these 4 rounds need to be repeated for 3 sets, and this would mean that your work would end after completing row 71. So your bust darts would look like this. Now I'm going to show you round 72, and this round prepares us for the future rib pattern, and I've been planning where I'm going to put my decreases, as I want the rib pattern to coincide with the details along the front, like the bust darts and the little garter stitch sides. So let's begin. Now on this row, round even, we will decrease 8 stitches and increase 1 in order to make this pattern fit in. So round 72. What I'm going to do is first of all pick up a strand, and I'm going to make a purlwise increase by working into the back of that strand. So that's the increase. And then I am going to knit 2 and purl 1. And I'm going to keep going with that repeat for 12 sets, i.e. knitting 2 and purling 1. So that's 2 sets, knit 2, purl 1, that's 3 sets, knit 2, purl 1, 4, knit 2, purl 1, that's 5, knit 2, purl 1, that's 6 sets, knit 2, purl 1, that's 7 sets, knit 2, purl 1, that's 8, knit 2, purl 1, that's 9. And this knit 2 purl 1 is basically the rib pattern that we're going to continue with once we've got this setting up row completed. Knit 2, purl 1, knit 2, purl 1. So that should be 12 sets there. Knit, oh, bring the yarn to the back, knit 2, and then where our marker is, we can remove the marker actually. We are going to purl 2 together. So at this garter stitch detail, purl 2 stitches together. Now I want you to knit 2 and purl 1 for 7 sets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now knit 2. I'm just going to remove my marker. So I had this in position just for my benefit as I was checking my pattern writing. So next, purl 3 together. So 1, 2, 3, purl 3 together, like so. And next we want to again knit 2, purl 1, this time for 6 sets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, knit 2, 1, 2, and then we are going to purl these 3 stitches here together. And we are at the centre front there of the bra. Next, knit 2 and purl 1 for 6 sets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, knit 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to purl 3 together. So we're at the second bust dart there. So purl 3 together. Now I want you to knit 2 and purl 1 for 7 sets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, next I want you to knit 2. That will take us to the marker. We no longer need that marker. Next, purl 2 together here and knit 2 and purl 1 for 12 sets. So that's 1, that's 2 sets. That's 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11, 12, and then the last 2 stitches will be knit 2. So that completes the preparation for the rib. So let's call this round 1. This is round 1 of the rib pattern. We're going to begin by purling 1, and then next I want you to do a 2 stitch right across, and this is a cable stitch, but we can manipulate the stitches just with the needles by going into the second stitch on the left needle as if to knit, and we will knit through it. Let me do that again. So into the second stitch on the left needle, then into the first stitch, and then take that off like so. That sequence of 3 stitches there is repeated throughout the entire round. So begin by purling 1 and then 2 stitch right across. So remember, we're working into the 2nd stitch of the left needle, not taking the stitch off, but working the 1st stitch and then taking both stitches off. So we've now got 2 sets there of our ribbed pattern. Now purl 1 and 2 stitch right across. Now this can be done with a cable needle. If you think about it, all we're doing here is knitting the stitches out of sequence, which is what a cable needle in effect does. So if we were to use a cable needle, I'm going to use a hair grip as my cable needle. You would slip one onto the cable needle, hold it to the back. You would knit the next stitch. You would slip the cable needle stitch back onto the left needle and then knit that also. So we're doing the same thing by working the stitches in a different order. So 2 stitch right across and purl 1, and take your time and don't do what I just did there. That looks a bit like it wasn't formed very well. Take that out again and slip that back on. So what I'll do is I'll show you the end of this first round, just so that you can see what happens at the end of the row, but I'm just simply going to continue on with this 2 stitch right cross purl 1 pattern. I'm at the end of the first round here. I've got 5 stitches to go, so that's 2 down, purl 1. So we end the row with a 2 stitch right cross, and then that would complete round 1. So move the marker over. Now round 2, we are going to begin by purling 1 and then knitting 2. And repeating that throughout the round. So purl 1 and knit 2, purl 1 and knit 2. And then for this lovely pattern to establish, you just keep repeating rounds 1 and 2 over and over again. Keep repeating rounds 1 and 2 until you develop a suitably long enough ribbed band. Now I've aimed for 8 centimetres worth of ribbed band here. That's just over 3 inches, and now I'm ready to cast off. My previous round was round 1, and it was a cabling round where we did the 2 stitch right cross. So I'll be casting off on what equates to a round 2. Now I'm going to cast off in pattern, and my first stitch is a purl, so I'm going to purl that first onto the right needle, and then I'm going to knit the next stitch. So I have in effect 2 stitches on the right needle of the new round. Slip the first stitch over the second, and maintaining the pattern, repeat that process. So knit 1 and then slip 1 stitch over the other on the right needle. Whoops. Like so. Tighten that up a bit. My next stitch is a purl, so bring the yarn to the front and purl the next stitch, and then slip 1 stitch over the other, and keep going until all the stitches have been cast off. So I've knitted 1 there, cast 1 stitch off on the right needle. My next stitch is a knit, cast the next one off. Now I'm going to try not to do this too tightly, as I don't want the ribbed band to be too tight. So purling 1 there and casting off. If you know that your casting off style is very tight, I would go up in needle size or look into stretchy cast offs or bind offs.